We are live as we travel the uphill road, coming to you from Black Bottom, #1 Detroit. We thank God that we have survived and now have arrived at the last stop. Living with reality, truth, and consequences. Exciting yet thoughtful conversation. Monologue, dialogue, dynamic guest, interviews. Most importantly, you, the listening audience. Live chat. Soon coming will be live call-in as we grow. Here at the last stop, we follow proven mathematical steps to its logical, biological, natural, commonsensical conclusion. Like 1 + 1 = 2, right? We all learn like that. So Dems, Repubs, Christians, Jews, Muslim, Hindu, and who do you do? Why must we compete when we all say that we believe in peace? In peace. In peace. In peace. Well, all right now, unbuckle your seatbelts. You have arrived at the last stop. I'm your host and conductor, Mansa Bay.
Focus too much on near-term emissions goals, and it's diverting resources from the most effective things we should be doing. But will the Democrats get the message?
Oh yeah, they say
this is the toughest challenge humanity has ever faced.
Bill Gates changed his mind now.
In 12 years, if we don't, it will be a death sentence to countless of people.
A term they coined called climate anxiety, right? Which is fear of the future and the unknown.
Remember the lies now.
A lot of that money
that we were all told.
Funded a mass delusion, and now they're paying the price.
It is infuriating, and it's hopeful. It's infuriating because, like the trans issue, those who questioned the lies were demonized. We are accused of putting lives in danger. It was the exact same strategy. Trillions of dollars were extorted from taxpayers based on the notion that this was an existential threat, and if you ignored it, like they told you, you were going to let people die. Now we know that's a lie, and it was a lie that impacted the mental health of generations and the physical health of a civilization. People were told to stop having kids. If you had kids, you were hurting the planet. But it is hopeful that Gates and others are ceding to reality. We saw it happen already. Nobody's talking about the data anymore because the data, the climate models, they're finally admitting are fraudulent. They were retrofitted so that they...
So the heck with...
And now
they're now getting it.
So
No, they need to be prosecuted, punished.
She tossed aside Mother Earth for her new crusade of hating the Jews. Think about all the grifters, though, who got filthy rich off this ruse. Where is Al Gore, the patron saint of the false apocalypse?
I mean, yes, seriously, Al Gore. You know, the oceans were going to boil over. You know, the Arctic and all the stuff. Greta Thunberg and all these stories about,
what he is going to continue to do is fund new technologies, which is great.
Nuclear.
Okay, that would be helpful. New nuclear.
Which isn't new, but necessary.
No, he needs to be prosecuted and put in prison.
But many others is great American companies were demonized and sued and had to spend $1 gazillion to defend themselves in court, which took away opportunities for either economic growth.
Yes, economic growth and other things, you know, like putting genetically modified mosquitoes out in the sky, talking about blocking the sun rays from...
Which I think is the largest sample size I've certainly ever combed through something, and it kept emphasizing that issues like climate change or LGBTQ plus issues animate a very small percentage of the base. But I think that Bill Gates is doing two things. One, he is recognizing that he got out over his skis a bit in the way that he was talking about it, like in that interview with Anderson Cooper, but also that he needs to be very strategic about how to deal with this administration.
No, you see, he didn't get over his skis, you know. He's trying to trick us again, you know. Him and Klaus Schwab and Yuval Noah, these guys, they are playing God. They are playing to be God besides God when you're talking about blocking out the sun and telling us that we're going to eat bugs and that we will own nothing. Yes, we're going to make a transition right here, and we're going to go over into this immigration issue. This is the last stop. Welcome. I am Mansa Bay AM, your conductor and host. We're going to go into this immigration thing with this lady. I'm just going to let her just go ahead and just kick it off. Here we go.
Let me be clear. The administration is choosing to starve American children. This is a choice by the White House.
Also a choice by Senate Democrats to not vote to open the government. Yes, it is.
The government is shut down simply because the Democrats want to continue to pay for illegals, criminals, food, clothing, and shelter, all at the expense of you and I, the tax-paying public. It is criminal that we are being robbed. But you see, we know now who we're being robbed by. There they go right there. Yes, the auto pen. President, then the auto pen, and now the president again. The auto pen, whom we now know who's been operating them. A total illegitimate presidency. The O'Biden presidency.
Final month in office, nearly 2,500 commutations were granted on January 17th alone at something like 4 in the morning. What's more than any president granted over their entire presidency. Now, among those commutations was 31-year-old Kyrie Holbert. Biden commuted his 20-year sentence for cocaine and firearm possession. Now, Holbert has been charged in Omaha, Nebraska, with a shooting. One man was hurt. His fingerprints were reportedly found on the weapon. It's the same gun tied to 2 other violent crimes, including a homicide in June. Now, as House Republicans urge the DOJ to probe Biden's auto pen use, it begs the question, who approved Holbert's commutation? According to leaked emails allegedly between Biden's top staffers, Biden didn't review some of these clemency decisions. His secretary writes, "I'm going to need email from the deputy assistant confirming Biden signed off on the specific documents when they are ready." The deputy assistant responded, "Michael, thoughts on how to handle this? He doesn't review the warrants." Joe Biden doesn't review the warrants, and sources told Axios it was a mad dash to find groups of people that he could then pardon, and then they didn't largely run it by the Justice Department to vet those commutations. Omaha Police Association President Patrick Dempsey joins me now. Mr. President, thanks for being with us here.
That right there is pretty much enough said. I'm sorry I didn't get the first video of the man that they were speaking about, who was his sentence was commuted, was pardoned. I guess he was pardoned. But those statistics are just overwhelmingly clear that the entire Biden presidency was truly a fraud. Illegitimate. They like to say that Donald Trump, he's an illegitimate president. You buttholes. You inconceivably tyrannical imbeciles. Yeah, you're tyrants and you're imbeciles. You're dumb. You know, I'm not going to say that you're ignorant, because you're not ignorant. You know what you're doing. You know that you've broken the laws. So that's why I call you just dumb. Imbeciles. And tyrants. Because you force people into unholy activities, behaviors, and conditions. That's what you've done. You are monsters. Yeah, supporting and propping up your illegitimate president, knowing all along that he was nothing but an empty shell, and that the committee running the affairs, this is this man here who got clemency from Biden, and who is now linked to new
This
crimes.
is someone who had been arrested on multiple occasions for very violent things like possession of a firearm. You know, after getting 240 months in prison, spending only 7 years, he's put back on our streets, where he's involved in a shooting in a downtown, very crowded place full of bars and businesses, innocent patrons on the street, and here he is out 7 years later shooting someone in our downtown district.
Incredible, incredible. And sadly, I think probably just one of hundreds of stories, if not thousands of stories, we may hear in the coming years about people that were let go.
You know, so with that being said, you know, welcome to The Last Stop. I'm your host and conductor, M. Backham, Mansa Bay, AM. Living with reality, truth, and its consequences. You know, I'm going to just speak a little bit about what's going on, some of the big pictures, that stuff that you, well, before I do that, let me promote the man who brought to us the invincible truth, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, leader, eternal leader of the Nation of Islam. So we are a nation within a nation. A lot of our previous and predecessor black leaders would be cried. We are a nation of people. What nation of people is what I am extrapolating here. We are the nation of peace, spoken of in your Bible. Let me say, spoken of in the Bible. I don't want to get personal with you like that, but sometimes we can't help it because it's the language that we use. Because when I say your Bible is what you believe in 100% wholeheartedly, what you say you do, and as if no other people, no other scripture, nobody else is worthy of the truth or has the truth, of which the Bible itself does not contain that truth. That truth that will do what? That will set you or make you free. It's not in the Bible. No. It was not prophesied to come in a book. No. That truth that would make or set us free was to come in the person of a man. That is the prophecies of Jesus of 2,000 years ago. Actual facts. So this truth, likened unto the Spirit of truth, and He will guide us into all truth. So ponder that. Think over these things.
Legitimate concerns about the state of the economy. You don't tell them to shut up. You don't tell them to pull themselves up by your bootstraps. And you certainly don't drive them to the socialists and communists by insulting them in that way. You explain the actual process that has brought us to this point. It's a process of globalization. It's a process of replacement migration. It's a process of financial abuse by the big banks who want everybody suffering under a truckload of debt that they'll never be able to escape from and always be working to pay off the thing that they were forced to borrow in the first place. Explain that to people, come up with a plan, or at least lay out the strategy of defeating that process and building a new one. Is this a complicated concept? Apparently it is, because the Republicans haven't understood this for the last 20 years, and I don't have any hope that they're getting any closer now.
Well, that's why.
On the topic of immigration.
That's why they call it the Uniparty. I'm sorry, Harrison. Here you go.
Abu Ghul, indicted by feds for a violent ICE protest in Chicago suburb. She made a video complaining about this and lying about it as well. Go to clip number 8, and I'll probably pull this out after a few seconds because She's just lying. I'll tell you the truth on the other side.
Because she was just lying.
My name is Carol
38.
Mazale. I'm running for Congress in the 9th District of Illinois, and the Department of Justice is charging 6 people, including myself, with federal crimes for exercising our First Amendment rights near ICE's Broadview Processing Center. This is a political prosecution.
Oh my
And
gosh!
a
She was simply expressing her First Amendment right near a processing center, and they arrested her for that. Oh my God! If only we had video of this, we could see what it was really all about. I mean, I forgot to bring in the video. We do have the video if we want to go find it in the archives. It was probably a month ago. We could find the date, and we had the video then. You know, she's literally blocking an ICE vehicle, and this was, I'm pretty sure it was literally 1 or 2 days after an insane leftist opened fire on an ICE facility and ended up killing some of the people they'd arrested. She's out, there's the image of it, standing in front of a car, blocking a car, while a crowd surrounds it. Somebody in that crowd, by the way, had a gun and had been making threats to ICE.
I remember that.
This ICE vehicle is expected to stop, just like an open target. Yeah, here's the video. I was expressing my First Amendment right, vaguely close to the geographic proximity of an ICE facility, and they're arresting me. What? Cut to her just standing in front of an ICE vehicle, trying to block it, trying to create a problem, putting the ICE agents in a very dangerous position, and really making it dangerous for everybody there, because ICE should not be obligated to...
So now you see, and then they say that we're bigots, we're racist, we're this and that. They call it enforcing the law. Simply just enforcement of what's on the books.
Duties of a federal agent. Good, send her away.
I mean, this is, either we have law.
Breaking laws. Hey, there's my advice.
Sometimes it's
There's
administered,
don't want to get arrested,
don't
break the law.
rightly,
It's
wrongly.
simple, actually. If you want to protest, go protest.
Yeah.
If you want to...
Sometimes, like I said, it could be administered rightly, wrongly, but it is a standard, that is always worthy of striving to attain, which is justice. Oh, yeah. Which is justice, freedom, justice, and equality. That's the standard. I mean, the future of our youth have been stolen, taken, and given to illegals. Given to illegals. This is a Somalian here. He's running for office. It's here. What did he say?
Fatah, Omar Fatah, commit treason. Right out.
We missed it. Dang. Okay, Omar Fatah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Somalia.
Somalia or United States?
United States.
Okay.
Mawisle. Early voting was Hadda ila November 4. I need your vote. I need you. Hadan Udkina, hello. We're gonna win.
Okay, so I mean, it's just, do we not understand what's happening here? The people of Minneapolis, if this guy wins, are about to be straight up under the authority of a foreigner.
Of Somalia.
You have now been conquered officially. Somebody that does, is speaking in a different language than you, waving another country's flag, is now going to have authority over you.
Okay.
And that's not even to mention the way that he looks. I'm trying to avoid that topic, but my God, it's so hard. I want to draw him. I want to draw his face, but I would be
man. You'd be arrested.
It'd be a hate crime for me to draw.
Yeah. All right, go and leave him alone, Harrison. But I understand. Do you understand? You see where he's coming from? I do. Do your research now. Don't take nothing what I'm saying or Harrison is saying, but to take the meat of it and just do some research on it. The slogan here at the last stop is, satisfy your intellect. Satisfy your own intellect. What intellect that we have remaining, because we've been under a constant attack of destroying our intelligence. Okay, so with what intelligence that we still, lay hold of, let's use it. And once you satisfy that intellect, then you'll be inspired, and then that inspiration has to lead to activation, and always moving towards that target, which is justice. I started this little ramble here, but comprehend, and if you don't understand something, ask somebody. That's all. Wait a minute. Yeah, that's all you got to do now. There's no reason for one to remain, and I don't mean this word ugly, but ignorant of the facts. There's no reason for us not to know, other than the fact that we just didn't ask somebody. Just ask somebody. No.
Yeah, we need not just to increase the things happening in the deportation front, we need to massively accelerate and expand them as far as I'm concerned. And Trump has set a 7,500 person limit on the number of refugees entering the U.S. per year. The Trump administration is restricting the numbers of refugees
it should be
to the United States to 7,500.
I think it should be no immigration right now. None whatsoever. No.
Or, Mexico.
Legal or illegal.
Our traditional role as the dumping ground of the third world refuse, it's ending that long and storied tradition of being a welfare magnet for the incompetent around the world. Gosh, what will we do without millions upon millions of government dependents coming here and signing up for benefits? How will we survive? Whatever could we do? Again, good start. It's a very good start.
What was done was the importation of an army. We have been invaded, but the invasion was an internal and external. It was rush the border. I want you to come. Rush, come on now, because you got to get on in here. And that's what they did. And not only did some of them rush the border, but they tricked us, with the women and the babies, mainly first. And then, mixed with, families. And then, but they hid the buses, they hid, all the operations were done under the cover of darkness in the beginning. And throughout, and still, but no, Trump stopped all that. But yeah, up until that time, so they actually imported an army, an invasion, military force. You've seen the videos of some of them coming across as men, groups of men from different countries, from China, Russia, Iran, Iraq, just from everywhere, Sudan, the continent, Africa, from all over, Chechnya, okay, yeah, all over, and not to mention South America, That was always a puzzle to me when I was a younger. South America. America and North America, Central America, all under America. There's something. But the tragedy of it all is that the truth has come. I had this flyer in my hand, Rashida Tlaib. There's a glare on that. or not, but Rashida Tlaib, always working for you, hands off Medicaid and SNAP. And she's a Palestinian lady, and she took over, or I don't know if she won an election or was appointed, but anyway, she is assumed the seat of former Congressman John Conyers, you know, somewhat of a legend and icon here in the city of Detroit. But I can't really, well, she's done some things clearly for some people, but her loudest voice on a national scene is Palestine, free Palestine. It's not, just the national exposure of that message. It's not one that is pushed. Minneapolis, Minnesota, with what's her name, Ilhan Omar. You know, she's a from Somalia. Her family had needed to be rescued out of Somalia because they were at the top of the slave trade system there in Somalia. Yeah. So, you know, her family was the slave, you know, trading family, controllers. But the people rose up against them, and she had to get out of Dodge. So, you know, so she came here as a refugee. Now wants to, you know, change America. They don't come to be an American, quote unquote.
Redress of grievances, no such thing. This is, I believe the dictionary definition would be terrorism. That's what that would be. You're going to surround federal buildings and demand political action like the country's your hostage? Hey, here's the good news. You don't have to wait. They're apparently announcing this and planning it. Why don't we do something about that?
Those are terroristic threats.
Until it actually happens and it all gets chaotic and insane. Why don't you pay a visit to these people, just like you did with Jeremy Brown?
Excellent.
Why don't you go knock on their doors?
Yes.
And let them know what they're engaged in, so they can choose not to make this mistake. How about we act like a sovereign country that's actually concerned about the insurrectionist forces that are currently plotting their
I really like the way Harrison Smith puts things.
Use all of the power that all of us regular people have worked endlessly to deliver to the Republicans. How about they use that power to secure our country from these insane scumbags? How about we do that for once? Can we do that, please? For the love of God? I know you spent the last 12 years spying on InfoWars. I know. They've spent the last several decades systematically deploying intelligence assets against conservative activists.
This is important.
Can we get just like a modicum of that from our side? Can we get just like the bare minimum? Because while we at InfoWars do nothing but tell the truth, do nothing but lead peaceful marches and make hilarious memes, we're the ones that have been subjected to surveillance and oppression for the last several decades, while these people are openly planning a literal insurrection and nothing is being done for them. I don't want peaceful protesters of the left subjected to the same shit we've been subjected to, but I do want the actual violent scumbags that are running this crap
actual
to
criminals
all the way to prison for the rest of their lives. To actually sustain our control in this country. Somebody the other day will say, somebody said, it's like we don't control the White House, and somebody else said, well, if Republicans have the Senate, the Congress, and the White House, and they're not in control, who is?